Hey Jay everybody, I'm AJ.
I'm Peter.
Welcome to the FNAF comments video.
Specifically the FNAF Supercut.
I was gonna say, we've done a couple of these, but this is the most exciting one.
Yeah, this is the final one,
all
in
the
theory.
comments, that you guys have had about the Supercut, were not all of the comments, but the best comments, the ones we thought were most interesting that we should address, we're going to do that today, right now. You ready to start?
Sure, I'm gonna start with what everyone is asking. Okay. Where is Night 6? Is there going to be a Night 6? Is there going to be a second season? Are you going to do sister location? All of that all together.
Okay.
Night 6 does not exist. Season 2 is not going to exist. Sister location might exist.
We can't be sure yet. All we can guarantee is that the story that we made, it is complete. There is no extra ending that you're missing right now.
I mean, MatPat is still alive, but he's also in jail.
You don't have to kill every villain that you encounter.
It's true.
It really is irrelevant.
It's a very American idea that you have to kill your enemies.
It is, right?
And if we do anything about sister location, it's probably not going to be attached at all in terms of story or characters or anything to the nights that we've done. This Supercut is done, it is standalone, and it's pretty cool.
There's a reason we call it the complete series.
Yeah.
So Vanilla Bunny wants to know, now that the FNAF musical is over, what's the plan for upcoming musicals? What day of the week do you want to ask us that plan?
Because if you had asked us 2 days ago, the answer would be totally different.
Yeah, so...
As far as we know, we're probably going to be doing a Professor Layton musical at some point.
We've been teasing a Phoenix Wright one forever, so I think Phoenix Wright is on the way.
That's going to be happening soon.
Yeah, that's already underway.
When I say soon, I'm talking about random counters soon. So like 1 to 3 months, not 1 to 3 days.
How like FNAF Night 4 was coming out soon for like a year. So, don't like keep refreshing the channel every day.
Please,
like,
I mean, do, because that's good for us.
All right,
but
well, don't expect it to be done that soon.
Yeah.
We take like a month at a time to make a musical. So this month you'll get one musical, next month you get a different one, and of course something for Halloween. We're talking about trying to do something for Halloween still. So
Sundance would like to know if FNAF the musical was shot in Miss Bird's house. I mean, sort of.
I mean, Miss Bird lives in this house.
It was shot right here, and Miss Bird and AJ and I and now Nate live in this house. So Mark does not live in this house.
Yeah, you are almost never ever gonna find Mark in this house. So don't assume that you're ever gonna see him in any of the videos unless we ask him to come be in it.
So yes, I guess it was.
In your house, I guess.
It's just a really weird way to put it.
Yeah. Alora Simpkins says, "Blooper Supercut, super blooper, blooper duper." Really excited about bloopers from the Supercut, which I think are already up.
Well, I believe what she and many other people are asking is a Supercut video of all the bloopers of all the nights, which is not going to be happening.
No.
But you are correct that there are bloopers up currently of all of the Supercut material that we shot.
Yes, you can watch them on a playlist, but they're still separate videos. We can't take everything from everyone we've ever worked with and be like, give us those bloopers. We need those videos too.
No, that's not fair.
Mark was generous to give us nights 2 and 4 onto the Supercut. But.
The Gunnet Gamer asks, did they only get the rights to one song? They used the same song 3 times.
So they're talking about Baby I Love You, aren't they?
They are definitely talking about Baby.
We don't need the license because we already own the license. That was written by us.
I know it sounded like too cool and like good to be our music.
And Raimi, the vocalist, who helped, like, he really fleshed that out at the beginning, was just still a joke. Like, he does a really great job. But yeah, that song it was written for FNAF the musical. It literally exists just for that joke originally. And then we brought the song back a couple times because we thought it was so funny and people liked it so much. Until the end, it became like, well, now we just have to make it an entire track. So if you didn't know that, you can go buy Baby I Love You, the entire song. It's like a 3-minute like love song, funky piece of music. It's really cool. It was meant to sound like a song that we licensed for the project.
Yes.
So I'm glad that worked. But yeah, that is actually FNAF the musical original music.
Hey, I spawned a soda can.
Oh, cool. Way to go. That's a nice trick. Speaking of Baby I Love You, Yuki Kano wants to know, who sang the song Baby I Love You? And we were just talking about him. His name is Raimi Crumwright, and he's a very talented man that goes to my church and does all the music there. And if you want to hear more of his music, I think we've got a link to that someplace. So he's not hard to find. If you want to see more Random Encounters videos that he sang, go check out Go Go Pokemon Go. He's awesome in that too.
Another huge contributor to the song is Matt Miranda, who is a good friend of mine and AJ's from college, actually. He basically did like half of the work on the first released Baby I Love You song,
Yeah.
and so he basically did the entire background track for this one as well.
Yeah, Matt actually made a couple different versions of the song after he got the music and changed the instrumentation. So if you want to hear a Game Boy version of it, he actually put together a really cool Game Boy one that we might try to use in the future still.
Yeah.
So really cool, really talented people. Please check them out. They're super cool.
Sarah Nowick, is nobody going to point out that MatPat has actual musical experience and they didn't give him a song? Didn't he major in musical theater?
Oh, what have we done? Yeah, no, we're completely aware that Matt is a majorly talented musician, and we have not gotten the pleasure of getting to use him in anything for singing yet. I know some of our friends did. Gerard did. Oh, I'm sorry. We did How to Beat a Monkey at Chess. So that's not on this channel, but go to Mark's channel and watch How to Beat a Monkey at Chess, and you can watch us singing with MatPat. So yeah.
Stay tuned. There might be MatPat singing on our channel soon.
We're never done trying to get talented people on this channel.
Soon is relative.
All we're saying is we would like to have him in a musical in the future, so who knows? Musically magical Melanie Mellon asks, can we have more of David King and MatPat's voices together? They go great together. That's a huge flattering comment.
I'm really glad you mentioned this. A lot of people don't know that anytime you hear MatPat on the phone, it's actually David King.
Yeah, that bear mask anytime is David King.
Yeah.
But they do sound kind of similar. It's really fun to hear them kind of go back and forth and just bridge that gap.
Yeah, I mean, David's a voice actor,
Yeah.
and so he was able to listen to Matt and be like, okay, I know how to do this, and just like tweak it a bit. And it worked out really well.
And not to say that Matt's performance on set isn't amazing, because it is. He's a great actor. But a lot of you noticed and said I had chills when I heard Phone Guy screaming at the end of that.
That's not Matt.
That's David King screaming.
That's David. Thank you for mentioning that. And check out David
talented.
King's channel. He does Midnight Marinera, which is a radio play of creepypasta.
He's a creepypasta.
And yes, he does a fantastic job.
It's been a long time since you bust that out.
Balloon Billy 22_. Why was the end of Night 5 of the FNAF musical only shown in the extended cut and not the actual night?
We had a meeting about this, didn't we? Like, we marked it on the whiteboard, like, where should we end FNAF Night 5? We talked about, like, oh yeah, light the building on fire, and then, like, cut. But then we're like, people aren't, they're gonna just believe the whole series has actually ended. If the building lights on fire, he screams, and then it just cuts to black. It'll be like, that's a dark way to end, man. Yeah, so we played with a few different ways of ending Night 5, and I think collectively, we all agreed, we went, the story feels like on a high moment, to let MatPat actually pull off a mask and be like, you're the victims, and then cut to black. We're like, that's a good moment. People are gonna want to come back for that.
Yeah.
We all took a vote and said, who wants to end here? Who wants to end there? And everybody was like, ending on MatPat, pulling a mask off and saying a one-liner is pretty good. So, yeah. Amy Lupin. I'm gonna call you Amy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry if your name is not Amy, but Amy Lupin. So who was the guy Bonnie knew going to be originally? Before, when they thought Mark wasn't coming back after Night 2. So yeah, Amy is referring to that weird gap where after Night 3, we went like 9 months without making Night 4 because Mark wasn't going to be able to come back for the longest time, we thought. We spent 9 months figuring out who we were going to bring back instead. And we did about 2 months before we started shooting. We were very close. We had a draft of the script where they found a random person that we were still in talks about casting, and that was gonna be Phone Guy. And on a whim, after we finished that draft, we're like, okay, let's schedule, we'll go do this shoot where they go find Phone Guy. We decided, let's text Mark one more time just to see what he's up to before we lock this in forever. And then Mark was like, yeah, I'm still in. And we're like, scratch, this is terrible, this trip. Not gonna go find Phone Guy anymore. And it was the weirdest thing to go so long and be so certain who we were gonna do, and then have to come back and just change it all at the last second and be like, no, bring Mark back.
There actually was a time when it was going to be MatPat.
It was.
There was also a time that it was going to be Gerard Khalil from The Completionist.
Yep.
There was a time when it was going to be Miss Bird with a mustache.
We talked about everybody. It's a really good question.
This is kind of a similar question. Scenic Star, what was the biggest change you made in the FNAF musical? The weird thing about that is that it wasn't a change. It was a reversion back to the original.
You're right. It ended up exactly the way we were hoping it would end instead, including having MatPat come be the Phone Guy at the end. And stuff like having him dressed as a Nightmare Freddy kind of thing with a flamethrowing chainsaw. That was stuff that was pie in the sky. Yeah, right, we'll never get to do that, but it'd be cool. And we just held on to that just long enough that it became possible again. Just enough things like line up in the end.
The other big change was when we first uploaded nights 1 and 2, we weren't sure we were going to continue until we saw the viewership and we're like, oh.
You guys like FNAF.
Yeah, we're going to continue.
You guys really like FNAF.
So it was actually intended to be sort of a standalone thing.
Yeah, you're right.
That doesn't mean we're going to cave this time.
Yeah, don't get used to it.
The last change was like, there was a specific thing in the after scene where Mark hangs up and he's like, bye-bye.
Oh.
AJ came up to me like a few days before the Supercut was due.
It was like a day before it.
And he's like, so what do you think if I pull a weird clip that we have from Chess with a Monkey where we have the audio of him going, bye-bye?
Like normal, because Mark usually signs off his videos if you watch him like that, you know, oh, see you in the next video, bye-bye. And I'm like, we had him on the phone going like, all right, talk to you later, all right, bye. Right? We have that recording, that's how he did it for us. And then after putting that into the video, I was like, why did he say it like that? Why don't we have Mark be like, bye-bye on the phone? So you're right, we threw that in the last second from Chess with the Monkey's like raw files.
Yeah.
Like, one other big change was for the longest time, I pushed so hard to have Springtrap revealed like a Scooby-Doo manner where they say, let's see who's really behind this.
Right.
And they grab Springtrap and pull him off of a hand, and it's a purple gloved hand. And then you scale back to see purple guy with his hand up where Springtrap was. And they're like, purple guy! And
I
like,
totally forgot about that.
yes, and then no one acknowledges it. Maybe Mark is like, wait, do you have his hand up Springtrap's butt or something like that? But we never did it. But I was pushing for a really long time, like, that'd be so funny if like we actually see him puppeteering him one time in the whole musical and no one ever even addresses it ever again. Mismatched Videos says, of all the shows they could have referenced, they chose Steven Universe. And I'm so happy about that. Well, that's good. You know who chose that actually? It was Nate Wants to Battle. Nate did that. Nate was the one that said, can I make a Steven Universe joke? Because what was the one we were going to make?
Half-Life 3
hasn't
come out yet. And then
That's
Nate was like, bleh, and I was like, and then all of you guys were like, yeah, Steven Universe, and I was like,
yeah, well, Nate knows he knows his fans and he knows FNAF fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, Steven Universe was a pretty good choice.
Riley Hurst, wait, if the antenna was knocked over, then that means BB.XE's camera would die before Springtrap got to BB.XE.
So you're saying that we didn't handle antenna radio signal correctly.
Okay, if the signal is weak, that sometimes causes like lag when you're watching a YouTube video. Like the signal still could have gotten through, but it just chose not to at that time.
Right.
So it could have been lag. It could have been that particular room was shielded more than like the hallway.
Yeah. True.
So there are some explanations.
I believe that he has two different functions. Like the antenna is for the control.
Okay, interesting.
And he has a different spot that's outsourcing the. I don't think the antenna does both of them.
Okay, so the antenna might be like radio, and then the video might be like Wi-Fi or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think that it's a Wi-Fi signal that's not using the antenna that broadcasts.
Sure. We'll go with that.
FU says, I still don't get why Mark's hair isn't red. First of all, it is red. Partway through the video. Second of all, that was difficult. We had to deal with his hair changing color in the middle of the video. And I'm glad some of you guys noticed that we put in a little bit of work to make that kind of flow.
Yeah, some of you have mentioned that like he hides his head when he's under the pillow and
he's
stuff.
He's like, sticking his head in like the closet at points. We only show him from like the waist down for a couple.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was a challenge when he changed his hair like 3 times.
Kada Thuman. In Night 3, why do they feel they need to get someone's help when they could have just destroyed Springtrap when he was on the floor helpless?
This one again. So this has been a common complaint people have had since Night 3 launched. So that's like a year of this question. Why do they need help when they just knock him out by dropping a vent on him when Foxy pops out? And the answer is because he doesn't even have wiring, so even if you knock him out, what are you gonna actually do to stop him?
He gets his head chopped off and he's still going.
He is an unstoppable, like demonically possessed robot, and I think we didn't get that across on Night 3 alone.
And that was our mistake.
Yeah, because there wasn't enough backstory for him yet. If you watch the Supercut, it becomes much more clear that there's something more sinister going on, and Nate knows about it.
Right. About Night 4, why did Nate and the animatronics wait until night to go to Mark's house? Couldn't they have just visited him during the daytime?
What do you think, Peter?
To be perfectly honest, it's probably because it's called Five Nights at Freddy's.
A lot of you are already familiar with the idea that the animatronics during the day, they don't act up. They're pretty just programmed and they do their thing. But at night, you leave them on the free roaming mode, and that's when they start getting kind of weird. Here's what we actually explained. In the supercut, when they come back to Nate's apartment to stall for time until dark, they're nocturnal. They're sleeping during the day, and that's our version of them being powered down or on autopilot or whatever you want to call it in the restaurant. Is they basically go to sleep during the day. I guess now that they have day jobs, they have to change their sleep schedule. They're adaptable.
We know a lot about changing our sleep schedule.
Good questions. Both of them are good questions. Those are our answers. Quiet Gaming Fan. How the heck did Mark get the chainsaw flamethrower at the end? It's not like the police gave it to him. You want to know the top secret canon answer to this? So, I like to imagine that this is basically what happened is those police officers.
Like the bad ones?
Yeah. Officers Stransky and Pinkerton.
Okay.
They receive an anonymous phone call that basically says, you're in possession of a flamethrowing chainsaw and I want it. And I happen to have information about you two releasing a dangerous criminal out on the streets and not telling your superior. And if you don't want it to be brought up to the department, you should leave this chainsaw in an alleyway. And they're like, oh crap.
Mark blackmailed the guys that arrested him.
Yes.
Bramblepaw says, so does Mark prep for the end of the world or something? When I saw this question, I was like, wait a minute. Mark in Resident Enos has the same machete. His name is Mark. Is Mark from Resident Enos? Mark from the Five Nights at Freddy's series?
He was a security guard at Freddy Fazbear's until the world ended and then he became an adventurer. I remember Dodger's backstory, but I don't remember Mark's except after the apocalypse begins.
Right.
I actually can't remember what we said he was doing up until the end of the world. So
it
maybe
could have been.
I don't think we're ever gonna formally make that tie. We can make a joke and say he was a security guard, but I don't think we'd ever say at Freddy Fazbear's on Resident Enos.
But yeah, I like that.
That's really funny though. I like that.
Yeah. FNAF Plush 123 Channel 2 plus random encounters. You guys said Super Freddy will return. Did we?
We said Bone Guy would return.
Yeah, we did.
They're
say
not
Bone
the
Guy
same.
Would return.
They're completely different.
I think what we should have done is when he says, "This is my restaurant," he should have been Super Freddy then. No, he just pops up from behind you.
Maybe.
Like that would have been a nice moment. I don't know.
I disagree.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So there. I like that he doesn't wear a costume for that because it's kind of a genuine moment where it's not played for humor. It's literally like this little tiny bear really believes that like he's in charge here and he will defend his friends without having to dress up and make it a comical thing. Tanya Hulse, I love how the chainsaw is a hedge trimmer. I got nothing.
Yep.
Touche.
Yep. Fly Yeti! Did you just animate the fire? Yes. We didn't actually light our house on fire.
But we got renter's insurance.
Okay.
Comment about the fire just rolling out into the hallway.
Okay, that shot's good.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
That shot's good.
Yeah. And I remember you told me partway through MatPat Senior, I just found a better way to do fire, and I don't have enough time to go back and redo all the fire effects.
Yeah.
And Peter was very sad, but yeah, you were rushed. The fire works. I think so. Better than a real fire would have worked, to be honest.
Well, I mean, not if we, had proper Hollywood setups for it.
Okay, well, we don't. So we would have been lighting our house on fire.
Which would have been
lighting
a bad thing.
MatPat on fire. Do you want to be the people that lit MatPat from Game Theory on fire?
I don't. Yeah, the fire took maybe 2 weeks of my computer just chucking away rendering stuff. It was really intense in terms of post-production effort.
Go get him on 500. Am I the only one that found it sad that someone had to sit in a room and record themselves making rabid animal noises and demented pirate noises? Just me? Yes, the only one.
Totally.
No
First
one.
of all, if you ever have to ask, am I only one? The answer is almost certainly no.
Yeah, it's the internet. It's like Rule 34. You are never going to be the only one.
But the reason I put this question in is because not all of us actually read in our room. True. David King read in a closet.
That's true. It was hot. It's hot, and he had to read Phone Guy after he read. Yeah, so not only did he have to...
How long were you guys recording in that session?
2 hours. Yeah, he had to pop out in between, and like his computer was overheating. He's like, woo, okay, I'm gonna just open a window for like 2 minutes. He's like,
that's so rough.
Okay, oh yeah, that's good.
It's so rough.
He's like, okay, I'm ready. My body's ready again. He's like, go again.
My voice was dead after screaming from Springtrap. It was so hard. Eric did anyone notice that when MatPat kicked Freddy, there was a water bottle? Okay, so what they're talking about is when MatPat kicked Freddy, there's literally a water bottle inside Freddy holding him up.
That might be true.
And yes, there is. Honestly, I was going to remove that water bottle digitally, obviously, but what you didn't see is that Springtrap, when his head gets cut off, also had a water bottle. But I did edit that one out digitally.
But you also removed people from the set, because I remember we had people in the windows of several shots.
Oh yeah, I did do that.
That all disappeared in the final cut because we somehow had reflections in this. There are a lot of things actually that you guys can / may have noticed, more than just the water bottle that pops out of Freddy. But Magic Craft Cat wants to know if Scott Cawthon sent us that box.
The box that Springtrap comes in actually has a little label that says Scott Cawthon.
It does.
On it. It was not sent by Scott Cawthon.
No, it was not.
That is not his actual address.
It was supposed to be just a little silly gag. It wasn't supposed to be anything, but then you guys saw it. You always do.
Yeah.
And you guys blew it up and were like, hey, this came from Scott, what's in it? And it got kind of weird. But one thing, I don't remember if we talked about in our live chat or not, but some people have started connecting a lot of extra dots that we didn't talk about in the video that were, if MatPat is Scott, and the package that Springtrap came in is from Scott Cawthon.
Did Phone Guy actually
Phone
send?
Guy supplies Purple Guy with Springtrap. And yeah, it seems pretty much like what happened.
You can't really argue that. Yeah. NJ Holland, are there any props used in FNAF available for purchase, or do you have how-to instructions for making them at home? There are none for purchase at the moment.
If you want to make a fire extinguisher though, like the ones that we use, because we did make a fake fire extinguisher, not entirely accurately, but you can go learn how to do that yourself on the Prop Master's Handbook, which is run by our friend Scott, who was on set helping with puppets and such.
Yeah, I actually used his tutorial. I adapted a little bit for our own purposes, but I used his tutorial as the base for how to do it, and it looked really good. For
example, when we hit Nate over the head with a fire extinguisher.
That was not a real fire extinguisher.
That's a fake one.
Yeah.
And people have asked, why would you bother to get a prop fire extinguisher rather than just getting a real one? It's like, so you can hit Nate wants to battle over the head with it
and have him kill him.
Get up. Pixelated Sorceress. What a waste of a phone. That was gross water, by the way.
Really?
It looked yellow. You could ask Nate.
Oh.
Nate was there, obviously, because he threw it. I think it's
just
the bottom of the fountain, but it looked like a million hobos peed in it. Like, it was super gross looking. I had to reach my hand in over and over and take it back out. And I was like, oh, hobo pee on my hand. And it didn't smell weird, so I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but it was really gross looking. One of our encounters sent me a really nice phone for my birthday last year. It's an iPhone. And so my old block of a phone from like 1999 or whatever was like, nah, I don't need it anymore. It still works. It might still work.
It probably does. It's from 1999.
But yeah, it's like we just kept it as a prop and going, well, whenever we need to do something bad to a phone, we have a little tiny fake phone.
We actually do that with computers too. We have a couple like laptops that people have thrown away that I'm like, oh, we'll take them. We like to break them on set.
We do. That's perfect to throw across the room.
Yeah.
Smash a head on or something.
So it's not that uncommon for us to have random
broken
electronics
stuff,
around to break at some point.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my old phone before I got one from this century.
Queen Hatshepsut. Nate, using a Mac, proceeds to use a .exe file. First of all, that was not a Mac. That user interface was designed to kind of look more like Linux a bit. That's obviously still not going to run exe unless you use like the Wine emulator or something.
Oh, so you could do this.
You could technically do this.
You could do this.
That said, I did ask AJ when I was building all of this stuff. I was like, hey, AJ, it's got to be a .sh because Linux is a Unix thing and you need to run like a bash shell or something. But he was like, no, just do exe. People recognize exe more.
Yeah, I remember that conversation. I remember being really adamant. I'm like, .exe, man, that's what everybody knows. Like, you just know that's a program you can run.
And I'm like, but it's not gonna work.
He voiced your concerns. He knew. All of you nerds out there that know better than .exe files. Markiplier says, Nice, great work on this. Wonderful to see the full story coming to a close. Well done, guys. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks to everyone.
As much as I like just like getting flattered by Markiplier on our channel, we could not have done this without the help of all these super talented people like Mark, like Matt, like Nate, like Xander and Sarah and David, and you just keep going.
Everyone on
that's a long credits too. Yeah, so point being, this project came together as a group effort from a lot of very talented, creative people that gave up a lot of time for it, and we are really grateful.
Yeah.
And you guys are kind of part of that too, because you guys put up with a long delay in the middle, and you watched them all many times.
Over and over again.
And you know what? That's really important because that's helped us be able to make more musicals for you guys in the future, including some other stuff that might become, like FNAF, a series.
Soon.
Just keep your eyes open, and you might find that other things get the FNAF treatment in the future, and maybe we can afford to expand a couple other things into episodes. I really like this comments video. I'm glad. I hope it was fun for you guys too. Also, if you want to watch some gameplay of FNAF stuff, go check out Replayed because I was playing FNAF World. I'm gonna go back to it pretty soon probably. Might play Sister Location when that comes out. I'm guessing you guys might want to see that. I don't know. And for more musicals, obviously, please click subscribe because we're always making them. And like I said, we've got some really cool ones coming up soon. And some of them are gonna be kind of FNAF level cool. So anyway, thank you again for watching this, and I guess we'll see you guys next time here on Random Encounters. AJ, big salute!